I have one very short poem and one very short story. Maybe the crack doesn't let the light in. Maybe the crack lets the dark out. Maybe a death shatters something deep inside. Maybe a lifetime of losses have broken loose. Maybe now there is room for the light. Thank you. And the story I want to tell you, about almost 2 weeks ago, my grandchildren all live in California. My first grandson will be turning 22. My husband and I used to do the Woodstock Farmers Market, and I got the phone call that he had been born on Judy's cell phone, because I didn't have a cell phone, at the farmer's market. This time, when I went out to visit them, in years previously, there's the 22-year-old, the 20-year-old, the 17-year-old, the 15-year-old. Previous visits, game night was Clue or some puzzle kind of thing. One of the nights when I was there this time, the older boys taught Grandma how to play Texas Hold'em. On the way home, the weather in California was perfect. I had a flight from Ontario, California, to Denver, Colorado. Denver was having horrible storms. Flight was delayed 3.5 hours. Lots of the people on that plane had to be someplace right away. I just eventually had to get to Milwaukee, because that's where my car was parked. I had my library book club book that I figured this may be the one time I actually got the book read before book group. So I didn't care how long it took. When I finally boarded the plane, there was a woman in my row who had been sitting there for a while, and she appeared to be dozing. She had 2 very large carry-on bags and a sweater on, and my seat was right next to her, but as we were taking off, there was no one in the aisle. But before I moved over, she said, "I don't experience this kind of weather when I fly back home." And I said, "Well, where are you from?" She said, "I'm originally from Ethiopia. I have worked for 30 years for the UN. I'm recently retired. I'm visiting family here in the States." And we did a little small talk without exchanging names. And I said, "If you don't mind, I'm going to move over to give you more room." She had very large bags. As soon as the plane took off, she took sandwiches, fruit out of her bag and said, "I don't want to disturb you while you're reading, but do you want some lunch?" And I'm like, "No, that's okay. I ate so much in California." And the flight went on. Occasionally she would ask if I needed a jacket because the plane was very cold. And I said, no, I'm fine. As we're heading into Denver, and the pilot is saying, "We will be landing soon." and she opened up one of her bags and took out about a 12 by 18, which from where my angle looked like just a white piece of oilcloth. And she closed her eyes, set this right across her chest. When we landed and she moved it, it was the most beautiful picture of the Virgin Mary and Jesus. And she said, I do this every time I land. And she rolled it back up, put it back in her bag. And I said, thank you so much. I didn't even know what you were holding to your chest, but I certainly felt protected until we landed. Thank you.